Welcome to Bubba Rob's Carnivore Journey.
Hello everyone, it's Bubba Rob. How's it going? How are we doing at this moment in time? Hey? Yeah, I'm here to do a video. The one thing that I find, I should say is, some of you have watched my channel and some of you may have not on my carnivore journey. The one thing I feel is extremely important about my journey is my honesty about myself and putting material out on YouTube universe that will help another to become a better person in general. That's extremely important for me. I can't say enough how much I take that to heart. And it may be to do with the change in diet, exercise, and mental health. I touch on various things that people may agree with or may not. I'm not here necessarily to make friends. I'm here to get you to think for yourself and for you to live a better life. I really take that to heart. Life isn't easy. It's not about clicks or views, being popular, or even being politically correct. I mean, if I did any of those things, I certainly wouldn't be me. That's not who I am. To a fault, actually, but that's okay. It's just kind of the way it is. I'm finding in life, one of the things I really have a problem with is people passing judgment. It's really so wrong in so many ways, and I'm going to speak a little bit of a paradox with this video because I have a difficult time myself not doing that. It's something I work on all the time. And keeping that in mind, if you don't like what I say, if you like, you can leave a comment or just don't watch. I get into things that are a little bit more on the dark side about human nature and what I've gone through and what I see. And it may not be for you. I don't know. I find sometimes people just want to see a good thing and not think like it's is this world just one big shiny happy place? It's not. I really wish everybody well, but what I want to talk about today actually is addictions and how it's affected me in my life and becoming the person I am. I should point out before I get into this, I do not have any chemical or pharmaceutical or alcohol dependency issues. That is not somewhere the road I've gone down, whatnot. I do believe I have a carbohydrate addiction. That is for sure. And it's been brought on by different points in my life and all the way from my childhood to present day. That is a definite thing that I'm going through and I have gone through. But I've been continually working on myself over the years. And I don't believe any diet is really a cure for any dysfunction in your life. I don't believe it. It is no one else's responsibility except your own to fix it. You got to leave your trauma in the past the best you can. Okay? I've seen many things more than most, but less than some. I'm not the be end all of everything bad that's happened out there. And life really isn't easy. And, you got to stop feeling sorry for yourself and grabbing that candy bar or the bottle or what. It's, what point should we grow up? My life, I growing up, I thought it was normal, but, it wasn't. It's pretty lucky to have the parents I've got, even with the things they went through. My dad grew up in northern Saskatchewan. He was the 11th out of 12 kids. And now that he's older in his life, he's quite a bit more reflective on some true stories of what he went through and how poor he was, and they're pretty brutal stories. It wasn't easy growing up. He said they were poorer than the people living on their reserves. There was no social net for them. Talking about going to school with 2 pieces of bread and lard in between it with sugar sprinkled on it, and that's what they had to eat. It's tough. Those stories are quite inspirational, but I'm very lucky for what I've got. I listen to those things, and I'm ashamed of myself for when I felt sorry for me. My mom was born in Vancouver, and she was adopted out when she was 2. She first part of her life was spent in an orphanage over there because her birth mother was mentally ill. What can I say? That left definite issues for her, and she was lucky she grew up in Nanaimo, which is really a working man's town, and lived her life, and that place is known as the city with no pity. It was a tough town. Still a tough town. We're working class, hardworking people. And I know they've got a pretty bad issue with homeless up there and a meth problem right now. I was just up there a week or so ago with my son, visiting a cousin and his wife, and going for dinner. And the town is probably, it's different, but it's still kind of the same. It is what it is. And out of respect for my parents, I don't want to talk about too much of their lives without their consent. But with what they've gone through, it's affected me and how I view this world. And not only that, it trickles down and it's affected my 2 children who are adults and how they view things. Everything gets passed on, the good and the bad. The one thing that I received from my parents, which is really important, is you never give up. It's not good. Tomorrow is always a new day. And there's been times I felt like doing that, and I'm quite ashamed. And I have every right to feel that way, because my life was tough, but it could have been worse. It's the way it is. When I was in my early teens, my mom was battling an addiction to prescription medication. And it was the first generation antidepressants and antipsychotics. And going through that as a young person, I didn't really understand what was going on. And what I thought I was going through was normal, but it wasn't normal, to say the least. In some ways, I became a parent. 12, 13, 14 years old. I couldn't handle being at home, so I quit the sports and I went and got my first job at McDonald's when I was 13. It was easier for me to work and be out of the home than it was for me to deal with what was going on. I didn't really understand it, but I knew it was a relief getting out. Couldn't understand why. But I was a smart guy and I adjusted to it and I did the best I could. But, with what I went through, it made me a person that I am today. And, it's kind of sad because I started thinking about like, why did my mom go that route? Well, and not to put any blame, but, back then, and it's the same now, the reason it happened was the family physician gave her the prescriptions. It was a way of dealing with things. That's what the government was pushing, because it's cheaper than counseling. I don't believe that's changed. What they didn't totally understand was the ramifications that it has on families and the healthcare system, and so on and so on. But the reason my mom went through that was because she was dealing with fears of abandonment as a child. That's tough. It's really tough. I kind of is what it is. I got lots of stories about what I went through, and I'm gonna have a story time starting coming up with my channel, and I hope people listen to them. Some of them are going to be funny and some of them aren't, but I'm going to do it because if somebody gains something from it, they don't feel so alone, and maybe they'll understand how important it is to put the mental work in on their journey. A diet does give you relief from the depression and anxiety, but I'm not going to relieve you from your past. Keep thinking about it. Just saying. I was pretty lucky though that when my mom was going through what she went through with the support from my dad, she did her best, and she went into rehab and counseling and joined 2 different 12-step programs, and kicked the habit, became sober, and made significant changes to improve her life. It had a tremendous effect on our family for the good and the bad. This is one of the reasons I'm talking about this, and it'll all, come to everything at the end. But the one thing about sobriety with the addiction is you have, it does not necessarily change you and your behavior patterns from the trauma in your life. And those wise words actually came from my mom, right? Just because you've quit eating the carbs doesn't change your pattern. That's the reason why I keep harping on people's mental health. One of the things that happened in my mother's recovery is that she had a new family in her life, and it was the 12-step family. The great thing about it was that she had somewhere to go where there were other ears to listen and to understand and give her support with what she was going through. I mean, that's a tremendous asset. Okay. But the bad part that her family at home, and I can speak for myself, suffered on the flip side as their focus changed to helping others outside of the family. Does this sound familiar with the amount of time people are spending on their carnivore journey on videos and live streams where they're taking time away from their family to do these things. Just saying, just kind of pointing it out. Taking away from something and giving to another is like energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it just changes. It transfers. It shifts and moves. You can't have light without dark. Right? That makes kind of sense, right? What are you doing? Are you sitting down and making changes in your life which are positive and good for the community as a whole? Are you communicating with your family? I don't know. It's like, it's the elephant in the room. It's the yin and the yang in life. Whenever you remove one thing, another will take its place. Right? Is what I'm doing, does it affect the relationship with my family? It actually does, and it has. With my son and my daughter. And they're in their 20s. It's not like I got a young child at home that I'm editing a video and I say, "Oh, just a minute till I get this done." They don't understand it, right? They just don't. I praise my mom for all the unselfish things that she's done. But, for many, but it did not come without negative side effects and resentment from those who needed her support at home. After when she gave unselfishly to others and not to those who needed it in her family. The saddest part of all the giving my mom has done is, and I've documented this on the channel, is the deterioration of her health. She has stopped attending those meetings. In the last 3 years, only one person has called to see how she's doing. One. I don't know, hundreds or thousands of people she's been in contact with, and many calls. She went out at all hours of the day to help somebody or took on the phone and needed help. I don't know. It's just, I don't get it. I've run into a few of those people and I've called them on their shit. They don't care. I don't even know if they feel any shame. It says to me that, when you have an addictive personality and you don't work on it, you haven't changed. It's still all about you. Right? I don't know. So I would really like everyone to know that you should not neglect your own family when you're on your journey. I know that one day I'll stop doing my channel or I'll have an untimely death. And if I don't honor my duty to my loved ones, the dysfunction will continue and create other issues down the road in my family line. I don't want that to happen, or at least as much as possible. I'd rather die than create future issues. The most important thing to me in my life is my kids. Period. That's it. Because it's whatever they're going to do, I hopefully is in a positive manner, and that they grow up to be better people than I am. It's just it. It's how life should be. You know, we need to be mindful and not needy. Be grateful and not greedy. Have those discussions with those in your life that are important to you so they don't feel left out. Remember, they are the ones like your parents that have brought you into this world. Whether it seems like it or not, depending on any dysfunction that has taken place, they are the ones that have initially supported you. If the relationship within your family is toxic, you may have to let go, at least for the time being, so that you can heal and view things in a second sober thought. You know, you have to be able to let go. You really have to let go. These are the type of things that I actually think about. I mean, what about you? Is there any thought on how your attention has been taken away from your children or your significant other in your journey? It is no different than your health issues when they're poor. Your focus has shifted. We all need to be mindful of others, and yet at the same time your health, when it comes first. That comes first. Simple. I believe communication with those who are close to you can be toxic. I had a few comments sent to me about negative members of their family and their fears of admitting to them about their journey. Sad. The only advice I can give to you out there, if that's a fear for you, and fear that might happen, whatever your journey is, do it in silence and let them come to you when progress has been made. You don't need to tell anybody who you are. You have to show them. I don't really know what else to say. It's just something I needed to get off my chest. I believe there's lots of good people in this community, but sometimes I feel they kind of get ahead of themselves, putting the cart before the horse. I hope somebody gets something from this and me talking a little bit about my life, and share it. Have some humility. Be humble. Okay, remember. Oh yeah, please like, share, subscribe. I had to put that in. Remember to be a good person, good stoic, good carnivore, good biker, good blues person, good rainbow warrior, could be a good vegan, whatever it is. Be kind. Be humble, be honest. Stick to your word. You say you're going to do something, do it. Don't give up. Anyways, love you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.